the video. Today we are going to talk about becoming her, okay? And that her is that version of yourself where you like, baby, I got my life together. I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going after. Her is like, she got her life together in all areas, okay? So we're going to talk about how we can become that version of ourselves on today. But before we hop into the conversation, y'all already know I gotta drop it in real quick. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, baby, and also make sure that you are hitting that notification bell as well so you can see when the videos is going up on the channel. And if this is your very first time, my name is Toni, and yes, I'm a little goofy and a little crazy, and I try to be feminine, but then my silliness comes out. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with it, okay? We're gonna roll with it, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Just like we've been discussing on all of my other videos as far as transforming your life, anything that you are doing, when we talk about becoming her, we have to become that version of ourselves before that new lifestyle sets into place, right? So before you get that luxury townhome and that business starts thriving, all of those positive things that we know are gonna come, right? We claiming it, we know they're gonna come. We have to do a lot of inner work in order to become that person who handles those types of situations, because the versions of ourselves right now, we're not ready for that. That's why we have to have this inner change and this inner self-work that needs to take place. So when we talk about the inner self-work, we need to get down to we gotta dive deep, y'all. We gotta get into those corners of our minds that we don't want to talk about, that we try to lock away. We need to go into those places, because in order to have true growth in your life, or for me personally, because I've been working on this a lot myself, but I feel like it's best that you really tap into the areas that you have blocked off in order for you to really have that growth and that total transformation into becoming that her version. And y'all, I'm sorry if I start playing around with my hair. I am not intentionally trying to. This is a unit that I installed as part of some content that I had worked with on a collaboration, and this is much longer than what your girl be usually wearing. Like, do y'all see how long this hair is? It's like, it comes down to, it's cute, like, it's, you know, it's silky, it's smooth, it's 200% density, so it's, you know, it's nice and full. Now let me just drop a disclaimer real quick, okay? If y'all see a little smidgen of a piece of glue or something, I ain't mastered how to lay a lace wig, so don't come for me in these comments, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, this is me being vulnerable. This is me telling y'all that, you know, I had to hide a little patch over here. I'm just saying. So but anyway, I'm gonna try not to mess with my hair too much. It's force of habit when something is there and you're not used to it being there. So whatever. Anyway, a lot of the work that we need to do is inner work. And honestly, in order, like, truly, if you want to have total transformation take place in your life, you have got to go into the farthest depths of your mind, the areas that have been blocked off, that have been caged up with cement, with, you know, metal gates surrounding it. Yes, we're gonna have to tap into those places, because in order to really become that powerful version of yourself, that feminine woman, that boss lady, like, we have to really shed some of the old ways that we've had in order to have this growth and this life-changing experience. We're gonna kind of touch on 3 little areas that I wanted to break down for today's video. So the first one we are going to talk about, okay? Yes, we're gonna have to talk about them insecurities, because the her version of yourself that you're trying to become, she doesn't have insecurities. And I don't care what area or of a career field that you're trying to go into, whether you're just trying to have the total transformation just because, whether you're wanting to elevate your life, whether you're wanting to do content creation, whether you're wanting to start that business, no matter what, any kind of growth in your life is going to require that you deal with your insecurities. And baby, when I say I had a hell of a lot of insecurities, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. Again, I'm a very transparent person, and we'll talk in a few minutes about what it is to be vulnerable. But anyway, yeah, I had a lot of insecurities, down to you know what, I'm about to share something with y'all that y'all would probably be like, wow. Yes, I'm gonna share it. So when I was in third grade, I don't know, second or third grade, I asked my mom why God did not make me light skinned like her. Yeah, that part. I had, like, as a child, had become super self-conscious about the skin complexion that I had. Like, am I ashamed of being an African-American woman? No, but I was a darker skin tone, and you know, looking at someone like my mom, she had the gorgeous hair, she's like super light skinned, she's got freckles. Like, my mom is beautiful, okay? My mama is beautiful. She a bad. You know, growing up, and then I had like all of these light-skinned friends, and I kind of went through one of them circumstances where it's like, oh, you cute for a brown-skinned girl. Like, I hated that term growing up. Oh, you cute for a brown-skinned girl, because it made it seem as if brown-skinned women were not as beautiful as light-skinned women. And so growing up, I had extreme insecurities about the complexion of my skin, and I'm going to be honest with y'all. I had issues with that all the way up until my mid-20s, and just a few years ago, I really had to deal with it like head on, because I don't know why, but my brother-in-law was like just going in on me one day, and we joke like that, but he was like, you just chocolate, you chocolate. I'm like, no, I'm not no chocolate skin woman. And this is, you know, there are beautiful chocolate women out here, so don't get me wrong. I am not saying at all that chocolate women are not beautiful, but again, coming from somebody who was already dealing with self-conscious issues about the skin tone of which I had, for somebody to call me chocolate, it was like, oh my gosh, I already feel weird about being a brown skinned woman. So anyway, fast forward, like, he said that, and it triggered me so much that I had a full-on meltdown. And at that point in my life, I'm like, I have to change this. Like, I need to see what the root cause of my issues are, because no way something like this is still triggering me into my 20s, because I thought that that was something that I had dealt with, because early in my 20s, I started to become more confident in myself, especially when I went off to college, and you know, like, the dudes was checking for you, girl. So I started to build some confidence, but I didn't realize that some of those insecurities were still deep rooted in my, you know, subconscious mind. You have to be willing to dive deep into those dark places to really understand your insecurities, understand them, and then let them go, because we think often that we've dealt with the situation, and we are far from dealing with a situation. We've just put it away into the back of our heads that we, you know, don't think about it, because, you know, out of sight, out of mind. But at some point, you're going to be triggered. So if you really want to become that her version of yourself, that boss lady, that top-notch version of yourself, you are going to have to deal with your insecurity. I've always kind of dealt with weight issues. Even now, like, I don't feel insecure about it, but my weight is not where I want to be. I've definitely gained some weight over the past like 2-3 years. But when you've gotten to a point where you can deal with the insecurities that you have, even when you have things that you don't necessarily like about yourself in that moment, you're still going to love yourself. Because one exercise that I have really like focused heavily in on, baby, I stand in the mirror naked all the time, okay? That is one of the best exercises that you can do if you need to really like bring self-awareness, give yourself some self-love, and really just truly speak to yourself when you're in your raw form, when you don't have no makeup on, you don't have no girdle sucking in your stomach, you don't have any of the extra outside layers. Just stand in the mirror naked. Look at yourself. You are beautiful regardless of however you think you feel. You just have to get to the point where you feel that way about yourself, because an outside person can tell you that all day long. But if you don't feel that way about yourself, you know, you're going to feel however you feel. But I feel as though you should definitely stand in the mirror naked, hug yourself, look at all of your, you know, your flaws, even though they're not flaws, but we're going to call them that. But you know, your stretch marks, your dimples, your cellulite, whatever you have, look at it, embrace it, because it's who you are, regardless of if you're in a season of weight loss or whatever, because I'm in a season of weight loss too. But you know what? At every single moment of my journey, I'm going to love myself, because that her version that I know that I'm transforming into, that woman that I am becoming, she has no issues with insecurity. She has no issues loving on herself, even in spite of not being exactly where she wants to be. So you have to train yourself in these moments to really just be like, you know what? I love me regardless of whatever I have going on. If I'm not, 20 pounds lighter right now, so what? You still have to love yourself. I mentioned briefly about, having full-on vulnerability. I'm gonna be honest, I think I said this in another video. I would have never imagined getting on YouTube, like telling my personal business. I was never, like, I've never had an issue in front of the camera. Don't get me wrong. Like, I've done commercial work. I was a performer as a child. I danced. So I'm used to being like the center of attention, if you will, when it comes to like being in an open presence or putting myself out there to be judged in a sense. But again, I was doing performing arts. I wasn't necessarily being judged on my personal values or my personal, style or anything like that. So being on YouTube, especially like, let's be clear about something. Growth doesn't stop, okay? Growth is a continuous, I don't know what them kids is doing out there, but they know I'm recording right now. Growth is a continuous thing. It doesn't stop just because you hit one phase of life. So even since I've been on YouTube, I have learned what it truly means to be vulnerable. But being vulnerable is not a bad thing. I feel like it's such a negative concept in people's minds, and when they're thinking, oh, I'm not gonna be vulnerable, I'm not gonna put myself out there. Don't we all know that we're all pretty much going through the same life experiences? A lot of the times when we don't want to be vulnerable and we feel as though somebody's gonna judge us for going through an experience, they're going through the same experience too. So it's better to be okay with putting yourself out there. Be okay with talking about certain things. Now, I'm not telling you to put all your business out there. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am telling you is that it is okay to be vulnerable, because a lot of us are experiencing the same things. And you know what? Even me talking right now, this might resonate with somebody to be like, oh my gosh, like, going back to the example about my, growing up with insecurities about my skin tone. Somebody else might resonate with that and be like, wow, that's something that I dealt with too, but maybe I was too afraid to talk about it. So when we're okay with being vulnerable, you never know how you could potentially help somebody. Second thing that I want to touch on as far as becoming her, okay? One thing that we have to get over is questioning ourselves. Are we good enough? If you're not questioning yourself if you're good enough to do something, then you're not human. Because all of us at some point have questioned whether or not we would be good at something. But don't let the question make you fearful to start, because it is a lot of undertaking when you think, like, let's use the example of getting on YouTube. You're putting yourself out there and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is gonna take off. Like, I don't know if people are gonna, think this or think that. Or just remember, we're trying to elevate. We're trying to transform into that her that we see down in the future. So the her that we see in the future, again, she does not have any of this going on. She has dealt with these things. So if I'm trying to transform into this version of myself, I have to go through these things. So asking yourself if you're good enough, ask the question, answer it, and move on. And don't ever question yourself again after that, because here's what's going to happen. If you're constantly questioning yourself if you're good enough to do something, then you're going to start comparing yourself to everybody else in your process. And that right there will kill your creative vibe. It will have you in your head so much that you'll fail before you even start. I'm not a perfect person. Going through this process, really putting myself out there, making my social media presence, I have compared myself so much. And so A lot of the things that I'm telling y'all are things that I am actually personally working on myself. I haven't become her all the way yet. I'm in the process of it, but these are things that I'm working on myself. So don't feel as though I'm sitting here coming from a place of I've already done it. No, boo-boo, I'm doing it with you right now. We're so fearful to start a new journey, which actually brings me into my third tip, but we're so fearful sometimes and we get so afraid of starting because of the comfort zone. You have to be willing to get out of that comfort zone. You cannot become that best version of yourself if you are not willing to get out of your comfort zone, okay? And it's 2023 now. You're probably seeing a lot of people, you know, with all of this, oh, if you don't do differently in 2023, it's gonna look the same as 2022. And even though, yes, 1,000,001 people are sending, you know, making content about the same thing, it's true. If you're not going to be willing to do something different, you are going to be in the same position. That just is what it is. There's no way around that. So you have to be willing to get out of that comfort zone and change, and not just really like step out of it. No, like jump across a bridge to the other side and be in foreign territory. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do it, because you have to be able to figure it out in your process. Everybody's journey is going to look different. And I say all the time, especially when it comes to like my YouTube journey, or not just my YouTube journey, but all of my journeys for that matter, like building my social media presence, building my brand, all of that good stuff. You cannot compare your 5 minutes to somebody's 5 years, okay? And I'm sure y'all get exactly what I mean by that. You cannot compare your starting journey to somebody else who has been on theirs, because they had to grow and they had to learn from a lot of the same things that you are about to encounter on your journey as well. They've already done that. But theirs is going to look different, just like yours is going to look different. Get out of that comfort zone. Ask yourself, are you good enough? Answer it, yes, I am. Move on from it. Figure it out along the way. But you cannot allow the fear to stop you from doing so. Which again, like I said, brings me into my third tip of how you can transition and become her. Baby, you cannot let the fear control you. You cannot let the fear of the unknown control you. And I know that's probably so cliche. Y'all probably like, Toni, we've already heard that before. Yes, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you again, you cannot let fear control what you do in your life. A lot of the times, and again, this is probably cliche as well, a statement that's been said by everybody, you will never know if the grass is greener on the other side unless you actually are willing to leap from your little comfort zone of a pond and go over there and check. Now, I'm not referencing this greener on the other side like how some people reference that to, you know, marital issues, like grass ain't green on the other side, you better stay where you are with your wife. I'm not saying that. We're talking about a whole nother subject. I'm saying that in reference to, if you are so fearful that you're not willing to get out of that comfort zone and actually take a peek to see what that grass looks like on the other side, you're constantly going to only see what surrounds you. I'm a Midwest girl through and through, okay? Like, but I also know that there are so many other things in life, so many other things outside of just the Midwest, okay? So you have to have that same kind of logic when you are approaching your transformation. There are so many other things outside of what you see right now. Even when it comes to how you look at yourself, there's so many other things outside of you right now that you don't even see yet, just because you have these fearful eyes on that you're not willing to see who you truly are. And who you truly are is that her version down the line, that her version, because that version is like, she is, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's full of life. She knows exactly what she wants, okay? You are that person. It's just that you have been so fearful to step out of your comfort zone that you haven't been able to realize that. And I believe that that is kind of what happened to me. And I've kind of had that aha moment too. Like, I had it in me all the time. I just didn't see it. So many other people saw it, but I didn't see it for myself. You know, it's just one of those things where you have to finally just wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm tired of the same old, same old. The woman that I'm becoming, she's so different. She does not tolerate the same things that she did before. She is very business and goal oriented. Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like I said, I dropped out of college, okay? I went to, I did my freshman year at Missouri. Where did I go? Mo West. I went to Mo West. And I did my second year at SIUE, and I flunked out after my sophomore year of college. So if you watching this and you remember me from SIUE, yes, that's why I left, because I flunked out. After that, I ended up meeting my now husband, and you know, we got pregnant with our first son fairly quickly. So after that, I tried to go to school. School was just not for me. I'm gonna be honest, school was not for me, and I never had completed anything consistently until now. And I'm 31. So mind y'all, I went to freshman and sophomore year. So by the time I got out, by the time I left SIUE, I was 20. So from 20 to 30, I was not consistent with anything in my life. I had goals in my mind, but again, I was too fearful to go after my goals. And there was nothing in my life that I had done outside of, you know, my marriage that I actually stayed committed to. And so this place, and I'm smiling because, and I'm trying not to get emotional, because this has taken me a lot to get to where I am. Like, y'all don't understand. It has taken me so much to get to this woman that I am now. And I know that I'm not all the way to my her version just yet, but it has taken me so much to get to this point. I had to go through a lot of self-work to get here. So I'm saying this to say, go through the journey, because you never know. You will surprise yourself at the version that you are able to become. Being on YouTube, actually accepting vulnerability, giving myself self-acceptance, I feel like, baby, you can't tell me nothing. In all seriousness though, I feel like I'm just in a totally different season of life. And now more than ever, I know what my goals are. I know what I want to do for my family. So even if you are, you know, like I said, I'm 31. If you're 31, 21, 41, I don't care how old you are never too late. I mean, it's never too late to become that her version, okay? It's never too late to have a life transformation and elevating yourself. Becoming her is going to take some work. It is not easy, okay? It's not easy, and I'm not telling y'all. I never promised in this video that it was. So I'm just letting y'all know it's not easy. But if you are willing to truly go into the depths of your mind, deal with those insecurities, let go of fear of control, and truly just walk in blind faith, you never know how your life can transform. You just never know. You will surprise yourself. Like I said, I'm surprised at myself. So I know if I'm surprised at myself and how much I've changed over the last even 10 years, I know that you can have that same surprise factor too. Like, oh my gosh, I had a total life transformation and I'm not even done. So I encourage you guys to really figure out that version, that her that you're trying to become, and become her. Work on becoming her every single day with intentionality, because y'all know, baby, we all about the intention over here. And if you haven't already, I got a playlist that I'll probably pop up at the end of this video. Start becoming her every single day, okay? I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop in the comment section below. Tell me how you guys are becoming that her version of yourself for your life transformation. Or if you've tried working on some of these tips that I shared today, tell me how that worked out for you, because I really want to know, you know, if I'm just here to help you guys. So I really want to know how you guys are working on your life transformation as well. But if you haven't already, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in again. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, baby. And also make sure that you are hitting that notification bell as well so you can see when the videos is going up on the channel. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here because I am starving and I need to comb this hair out and figure out my life with this wig. I told y'all, this wig is just different. This is not my normal speed, but you know, we made it work for today. So I'm gonna leave y'all alone because at this point I'm just running my mouth. I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye, love.